Good morning, everybody. That manure pump is finally fixed. The combination of not getting the right parts right away, and I think we found something else that was wrong with it. Took quite a while to get that thing fixed, but it's fixed now. Like the first time the shaft showed up, it was the wrong shaft, and then we had to go back and get another shaft. But my dad wants to pump that pit out right away, and we need to put a tractor in front of the pump. We were using the Versatile before, but that thing's gonna be in front of the bale hauler and then the sprayer, so we're gonna have to find a different tractor. We're gonna take the Magnum that's in front of the feed wagon, take it off of the feed wagon, put it on the pump, and then we're gonna put that older white case tractor and put it in front of the feed wagon. So this pump is all put back together. Pretty much had to take it fully apart, our mechanic was saying, just to replace the shaft that was in there. Me and Dad got it swapped around. Now we're gonna grab that one and put it in front of the pump. Look at that, we got this thing hooked up as well. I'm gonna dump some fuel in this tractor and drop this pump into the pit. Just got her hooked up again. Pump and everything's set up, ready to go again. I'm gonna pump a tire up on this tank here. It's been kind of going flat a little bit. And then we're gonna start hauling again. I didn't think today was gonna be another manure hauling vlog, but lo and behold, shit happens, I guess. See if there's a little bit of oil in this tractor yet. How are we looking on that? That could be a little bit more, but that's looking pretty good. One thing that we noticed when the custom worker came out here, there's a reducer on this spray nozzle. You can see how right at the end of this pipe, it pinches down, and that thing kind of, I think, builds a bit of extra pressure before it sprays against this plate, and that spreads the manure out wider, but it takes longer to unload. I think we were doing 5-minute unloads, and the custom worker, he was doing 3-minute unloads. Super easy to switch out. There's literally just a clamp right here, and then switch it out. So we did order a new nozzle. It's by the shop right now, so we'll switch that out right away, but we're not going to be using it, unfortunately. I think these injectors are going to make it take a little bit longer. We'll see. I'll time a couple loads and see what that's like. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I think this rear tire is quite a bit shorter than the rest. It's a lot older of a tire versus the other ones, so it's smaller, but last time I checked, this thing was way down on air pressure, so apparently if you turn too sharp, you're already prone to knocking those tires off the beads, let alone if the tire is flat. So before we get anything into this tank, we're gonna go put some air in that tire. Also, we are gonna clean the mirrors because I technically should be able to see the injectors through those, but I can't see anything right now. Getting some diesel. So we're just dumping a bit of air in there. This is the oldest tire on this entire wagon. You can see she's aging a bit. Probably not long before we have to switch it around. We already switched a couple tires on here since we bought the thing last year. And the reason why we hesitate, didn't just swap this one out as well. I think these tires are a couple $1,000 a piece. You got 8 of them on there. Might as well run them right down to nothing and then switch them out. So you can just click this air hose nicely on the nipple there and let it hang. Especially handy with big tires like this. That thing needs an incredible amount of air to start pumping it up. And being able to just clip it on there and be able to walk away is good. Gotta keep a good eye on it though. I don't know exactly what would happen if you pumped that thing right to like 120 psi. I don't think I'd want to be anywhere near it when that happened. But so this is that new spout I was talking about. Doesn't have the reducer on there. I'm gonna throw this thing on there right away. Again, we had absolutely no idea that was even a thing until those custom workers came out here. They saw it right away. They were like, oh, they got a reducer on there. Go slower, way slower. So right away, as soon as we knew about it, we ordered another one. Gonna try to put this float in there. There's a little float in the tank on the top there. It goes up when it's full. This thing is supposed to float on top of the manure. Custom worker gave that to us because ours wasn't working. So we're gonna give this thing a whirl, see if I can get it in there. Tried once, didn't think it fit, so I quit trying, but he said they gotta squeeze it through pretty tight. So there's a little rod at the bottom of this where this ball should screw onto, and then as the tank fills up, you'll see this slowly go up, and that's how you'll know it's nice and full. Before, me and Dima were just grabbing our iPhones and timing it about 3 minutes and 15 seconds every time this tank would be full. That's how we were doing it. But as you guys can see, if that worked perfectly, there would be zero manure up here, so still room for improvement. That's why we're gonna put this in there. So this is where it is right now. It is a little bit too big for that hole, and that's where I gave up last time. I already tried before. I figured, no, it just doesn't fit. Then I talked to that custom worker, and he said, oh yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. We gotta squeeze him in there pretty hard. It's definitely a tight fit, he said, but it does go, so I'm just gonna keep pushing. Hopefully I don't lose this ball inside of the tank. Oh, look at that, we got it in there. Sweet. Okay, so that was absolutely a tight fit, but as you guys can see, she's down there. Hopefully it stays on there for a while. I am stoked about that. Ever since we bought this tank, this float has not been working. I'm excited to see it work. Can look right in the tank here. There's some bars there just to make sure no one goes in there. I'm sure the manufacturers of this tank do not want anyone to go in here. They make it pretty much impossible to get in there. You would pretty much have to cut a hole in this thing to get in here, and that's for a reason. There's a bunch of toxic gases in these tanks that are just in there, and if you go in there, you're gonna pass out, and you won't be doing so well. That is a lot better. Still not perfect, but at least I'll be able to see the injectors from back here. Just doesn't focus good on there. So since this pump just got fixed and everything, I gotta check the oil reservoir on top there. Got a little rag with me. There's a dipstick in there. We're gonna make sure it's good. This entire thing had to pretty much be taken apart for that one shaft, so that's why all the gearboxes got drained out. We just gotta make sure there's enough oil in that reservoir there. Well, we got her topped off, which is good because I emptied the entire can of oil into it. I'm assuming when it was sideways parked being fixed, you couldn't fill all the reservoirs all the way. Now that it's upright, kind of all the oil sinks downward, and that reservoir needs to keep a little bit extra in there just for running. Look at this dude. It's my cat, Buster. He's a pretty greasy looking little bugger. Calves sometimes will lick on him. He's a good boy. This cat's literally over 10 years old. He's a farm cat. Smart. Although I do see him on the road quite often, so I don't know how long he's gonna last, but we should finally be all ready to go to fill up this load, bring it out to the field, and see those injectors going. Be interesting to see if that float is gonna work or not. So since the 3 weeks this pump's been down or so, I think we got another 8 inches in here, almost. Quite a bit more manure in here again. It goes super quick. All right, so we can see that float works perfectly now. That is awesome. I haven't seen this thing work at all in our tank, but now it's working. Sweet. All right, so I've pulled the injectors through the ground a little bit just to show you guys what they do. They basically open up a bit of a channel, and then the hose dumps the manure into the channel, and if it hopefully goes right, maybe some manure goes over top of them, but it doesn't really inject it into the ground. It just opens up a bit of a ridge so that the liquid manure can kind of seep into the soil. What this is gonna do, it's not gonna do a whole lot for the smell. It's what we can do, and we're doing it, but It's also going to kind of cut into the soil, and it's going to help us retain some of the nutrients from the manure and help it seep into the soil, which is actually worth quite a bit as well. Well, that's what it looks like with the injectors. It's doing a pretty good job, it looks like. But as you guys can see, it's not underneath the ground. It's still exposed, which means it's still gonna smell, so. Oh well. I can already tell that's gonna take a lot longer than just spraying it over the field. It sucks. So there is gonna be a few downsides to injecting the manure. We're gonna have to hit this with a harrow in the springtime, just to level it out, because those ridges don't get leveled themselves, and we gotta have a smooth seed bed. So just timing a load here, looks like we just ran empty. So a single load looks to be about 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Definitely takes longer with these injectors. I think those custom guys with that new spout that we just got as well would be spraying it over the field in under 3 minutes. So that's a pretty big time investment to inject it, but it is what it is. So a question I'm probably gonna get in this video is the sand still mixed up and suspended in the liquid? And the answer is no. I can see it's pretty much just water, and everything is separated out and settled down. So we're just gonna pump the liquid off the top here. There's still gonna be some solid manure and some sand left in this pit. We're gonna do the same thing probably end of October, beginning of November, sometime in there. One last emptying of this pit right before winter, where everything's frozen solid. I was just backing up underneath the spout here. I noticed the problem that the wagon was steering super weird, and it just didn't feel right. And I see now that my steering isn't hooked up right to the hitch anymore. I'm gonna go show you guys exactly what is wrong with it. I lost one of these pins. Okay, that makes sense. So it's gotta be somewhere. Hopefully I can find it. So basically, you see this pin here, there's supposed to be another one on this side, and those two are kind of supposed to hug this. And then when the tractor turns, moves this bar, and that's what steers the other axles on the manure wagon. But I guess it got loose. I've been keeping a pretty good eye on these pins, tightening them up over time. They just always seem to come loose. I don't know why. I think I kind of noticed it coming around the chute here. Just kind of gonna walk the last distance I drove in that tank. You know, it's not really a big deal when the tank is empty. The tractor can still kind of boss that thing around. But if that steering was to go when it was loaded and I was heading down the road, like, the tank would rip the tractor into the ditch. It would have no control over that tank if it just decided to go where it wanted to go. So that's pretty sketchy. Gonna have to make sure I get that pin on there properly if I can find it again. Well, that's lucky. Here it is. That's what we're looking for. Came off just after I turned back into the yard, so good thing it didn't come off on the road. Some of the best tools in the game right here. So there's a bit of play in there. That's what you want. You don't want it to be exactly perfectly tight on that hitch, and hopefully it stays like that. Well, that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I think we're going to be able to get this out tomorrow. If you look in the pit here, you can see all of this kind of lighter stuff, that's actual liquid, but all the dark stuff in the distance there, that's not going to just pump out. It's a bunch of solid stuff, pretty thick. The liquid is kind of running off the top of that stuff into this kind of bowl here, so it's not going to be long before we're right out of liquid, and that's all we're going to be able to pump out. So pretty sure, pretty confident I'll be able to get it out tomorrow morning. We definitely hammered it out about 6 inches today. So if you guys enjoyed, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. Check out the Instagram @SaskDutchKid, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.